What's going on, guys? I'm Lorentz from iWood Cosplay. Today I have a new tutorial for you guys. It's going to be for the Bakugou Gauntlets. Not only is the new pattern going to include the new trigger and the inner gauntlet, it's also going to be customizable by scale, and I'll make a YouTube short explaining how to do that. Now if you're starting with the foam kit, go ahead and skip right down below. And down below will be timestamps for each of the steps you might need to go back to, just in case you forget. So in the instructions you'll see a scale chart. All you have to do is select a poster print, and it's got to be on the free Adobe reader. Some of you guys will use it on the Google browser, and that's not going to have this function. So this pattern is pretty straightforward. In this video, I'm just going to cover a few instructions and tips on how to use certain parts of this pattern. So let's get into that. So after putting the pattern together, I like to use some sprayed adhesive to attach the pattern to a piece of cardstock. That way the pattern isn't so flimsy, and it makes it a lot easier to transfer the pattern onto foam. For those of you new to spray adhesive, it's amazing. It's like a spray-on glue, and you put that on the back, and you guys can see what I'm talking about right here. So for this part, you only really need to do it for the base shell pieces. Why, you ask? Well, I'll show you that right now. For this shell template, you'll see square ridges all along the edges of the pattern. Now, these aren't just registration marks, and I'll say it again, they're not just registration marks, they're actually space dividers. And I didn't make that up, so I'm gonna show you guys how to use these space dividers. So take that pattern and transfer it onto 10mm EVA foam. You can get this from multiple suppliers, but since you're here, you can also pick from my shop, which is down below as well. Like usual, we'll trace out the patterns like so. You should have something that looks like this. So flip it over and mirror to the other side. Now with a straight edge, we're going to connect the space dividers like so. So the top edge will go to the top edge on the other side, and the bottom edge will go to the bottom edge on the other side. So it will create a margin, which is the space divider we'll need for each of the shells. With that, you should be able to create the shells you need for the gauntlets. For the base, the pattern will look like this. We're going to trace the outside shape first. Then flip the pattern to get the other side. Make sure you do this 4 times. Why, you ask? Because remember, we're making 2 gauntlets. Next, we're going to cut the shell details on the pattern and carefully position them on the foam. I only cut one side because I'm going to flip the pattern and get the other side like so. Now we'll do the same thing to the shorter base pattern. Those are the only tips I feel are important to cover here. Everything else is pretty straightforward. You just trace and transfer them onto foam. Now once you're done tracing and cutting them out, you should have something that looks like this. Now you guys can see there's a lot of foam, and this is the foam kit actually, and you can pick that up down below as well. As you can see, this is a pretty big project with lots of foam, and if you're short on time and you don't want to do a lot of busy work, then I would recommend starting with the foam kit, which you can pick up from down below. Everything's already cut and marked for you and ready for you to assemble. To assemble this, we're going to need a heat gun and a round object to shape the gauntlets. When heating the foam, you'll see the surface of the foam seal up like this. When you do, you can begin moving to another area to prevent the foam from melting. When the foam is properly shaped, we'll curve out the foam on the styrofoam ball like so. When you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Do this for all the base shell pieces. After we're done heat shaping the foam, we'll put the pieces together with our good old contact cement. Make sure you wear a respirator. We're going to start by applying the contact cement to these seam edges first. Make sure you apply a moderate amount of contact cement to the tight corners of the edges. Wait a few minutes or use a blow dryer to speed up the drying process before putting the edges together. If you start with the edges and they come apart with this webby appearance, then wait a few more minutes before putting the edges together. Properly dried contact cement should come together like this. After putting together these pieces, you'll have to put each of the pieces together. Start by applying contact cement to the edges accordingly. When they're properly dried, begin putting the edges together using the position of the shell as a guide. So here comes this corner. It's a little tricky, so just take your time. And don't worry, with a little push and pull, you'll get it. And just like that, there you go. Now we have to connect the two halves together along these seam edges. And with a little patience and faith, ta-da! Okay, we completed one base. Next, we have to attach the shells. I know this looks like a lot of work, but it's not bad compared to the old pattern. Because we already have the position of the shells marked on the base, we'll start by applying contact cement to these areas first. If you have a laser kit, the shells will have these tabs that need to be snipped off. Also, for this build, I used 10mm adhesive back to make this process faster. However, I did learn that the adhesive foam, at least for anything above 6mm, isn't strong enough, so unfortunately we'll still have to get our hands dirty and apply contact cement to the back of the shells as well. Anyways, apply the glue to both surfaces. Blow dry to speed up the drying process. Once you've done that, you'll carefully place the shell into its proper position. And yes, this does matter because I wasn't careful and placed them in the wrong columns, so don't make my mistake. This is the part I realized I messed up. So I suggest starting with the fatter shells because those are more apparent than the thinner ones. There you have it, the base with the shells on. The next piece we'll work on is the top edge. Start with heat shaping and then apply contact cement to this seam edge. Putting the edge together will produce a shape like this and it will sit on top of the gauntlet like so. In order to do that, we will apply contact cement to the two edges like so. Wait for them to dry, line up the seam edge and put them together. Next, we just have to add the bottom trim detail. If you're using the foam kit, these do come in 2mm adhesive. And yes, the adhesive for the 2mm is strong enough. So all we need to do is apply contact cement to the trim area. Wait for it to dry, peel away the sticker back, and then apply the 2mm bottom trims like so. Do the same for the other side, and we should have something that looks like this. Here's a good time to take a break. We're probably about 2 hours in. So when you're ready, we're going to start with the trigger. If you're using the foam kit, then the trigger will be on 10mm adhesive. And I know I said the 10mm adhesive wasn't strong enough, but that's primarily because it was sitting on a curved surface, and that tends to undo itself. So for this one, it works decently. So completely cut out each of the pieces and the mirrored half. If you want the trigger to be detachable, which helps when you're flying to cons because these triggers are huge. I won't say it, but I'll allow it in the comments. Anyways, we'll take this trigger detail and remove the adhesive with a heat gun. Then to completely remove the glue, we'll use some Goo Gone. Just spray some on the adhesive back and wipe it off. Now to put the trigger together, all we have to do is peel off the sticky back and attach them like so. We'll do the same thing for the bottom piece. Of course, all we have to do now is attach them together using contact cement. I designed the new pattern like this in case you wanted the trigger to be longer. All you have to do is extend the top piece. Once the glue is dried, we'll put them together, and that's one trigger down. So here's an extra step you can take. I like to make the base of the trigger thicker. To do that, we need to stack another one of these pieces to each side of the base, like so. Remember those small trigger details we cleaned up earlier? If you remove the adhesive, then we're going to stack them at the base like so, and using a 1-inch rod, could be wood or PVC. Here I'm using wood. We're going to skewer through the trigger like so. So we'll stop when it's flushed on the other end like this. Mark the position of the rod with a pencil, then take it out because we're going to cut it. Here I'm using a chop saw. Now if you don't feel comfortable using this, you can use a handsaw, or if you're using PVC, you can definitely use those PVC cutters. So we're basically making the bolt for these triggers. Now that we have the bolt, we're going to test fit it. If everything is correct, it should fit flush on both sides like this. Take that trigger and mark the outside position of it on the base of the gauntlet. This will be our marker for where we will apply contact cement. You should have something that looks like this. Remember, the contact cement will only be for the outer flaps. So we'll only apply a layer of glue approximately the thickness of the flaps. Apply the contact cement to just the flaps, wait for them to dry, and put them together like so. Once you have that, you are free to remove the bolt, which will release the trigger. For the finishing touch, we will add these details to the bolt using super glue. Lastly, for the trigger, we will add this little tip detail with super glue as well. To attach the trigger, all we need to do is line up the opening and insert the bolt we made. And there you have it, a removable trigger. Almost done. The inner circles will need edges beveled roughly 45 degrees. Carefully cutting out the edges, we will have something that looks like this. Once we've done that, for both pieces, we can test fit them into the gauntlet. Trace the position with a silver Sharpie. We'll start with the smaller circles and then finish with the bigger one. The bigger one will sit inside the gauntlet like this. The old pattern has this piece sitting flush here, but for accuracy, it doesn't actually look like this, and I'm using this toy model as a reference. So you can see the inner gauntlet details. I know it's not necessary, but if you're going to compete, judges love these extra detail and attention. But I'm going to stop talking. So to wrap things up, we just need to apply the contact cement to the edges we marked inside the gauntlet and to the circle. Wait for them to dry and carefully put them together. And there you have it. The inner gauntlets is not part of the foam kit, but it will be part of the pattern. Here is what I used to paint it. I'll link an old video right there on how you paint it. Okay, and that's it, and that's how you make the new Bakugou Gauntlet pattern. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. And I remember the old tutorial was 3 videos long, so this is a long tutorial, but I was able to comprise it into 1 video. And like I said, timestamps are down below in case you need to come back since this is a long tutorial. I hope you guys like this video. Hit that like button. If you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.